So you want to check Gungahlin? Guys, if you just want to line up, do equipment check.
How many balls?
They're all good. Just be mindful, guys, so it's the two of you. Right, make sure the plate stays down as much as possible. It really matters because they're wearing black as well, so maybe the white will
Hey!
Lucky you had short. Mask. Foreign was that short. He gave him 2 pairs and he reckons he gave him a round. So I didn't have any. He told me so short.
Guys, you just want to line up, you want to get an equipment check done. Stepping up.
I'll embarrass you today. You know they go, I'm going to screw you.
Yellow mask.
Good. That's going to be me. No, he regrets it.
He will soon.
I know he will.
People come. Can you smell that?
Right then?
Yep.
Yeah, he came back. He was overseas one of these. That's what I thought. It's still young. Get behind him, Mohammed! Mohammed! Still out. Let's go. Curran! Inside! Look up, Jack. Hey, jumping it up! Hey, tell us to stop turning blind and just connect. Move the ball forward. Connect, Cordell! Take. Lock it up, move! Yes, I step.
Alex, look for Martin. Martin. Get it back, get it back! Quiet, blow the whistle!
Locking up. Moses!
Ormeño, Ormeño! Have a hit! Alex, make sure you can see the ball on the flyer. Martin, come back. Ahí nomás.
Tommy! Come back!
You have to start high there.
What are you doing?
Sucking the play into Cordell on the press. Hey, if he does go to Cordell, we go back to Williams to you. He just goes deep, he's splitting him. Hey, hey! Press! H, understand H, understand.
¿Quién carajo lo ayuda? ¡El solo!
Menyo, leave the ball for the defenders. Alex, Alex, you're throwing, good.
Turn, tight! Throw, man! Throw! Yep, brilliant! Ready?
Just got back to Dixon and
Pick you up! Stand, Nico! Adrian, come on! Option, Jacob. Lock it up, Jacob. Lock it up.
Come on!
Gabby, inside. Keep it moving.
Go on, get back. Hold on. Pick someone up there. Sort it out, you got two. What's that?
Lock it up, Gabby. Doesn't come back through. Not so deep, Cordell, not so deep. Come in, yes. Press the ball.
Play free.
What are you doing, Mohammed?
Have a look. Now you push up, go. We're attacking now, go.
Come on, come again. Second! Still in! Tight, Elliot, tight, Elliot! Move!
Michael, talk to the
Stay in the
midfield.
six.
They're staying up too far.
Look out! Take your time, Jacob, take your time. Cordell, the Ryan's getting off, but don't drop so deep because you're inviting them with you. See if you can come in the next line to receive and you can go forward. Willie, we're losing the shape because you're trying to rotate too much. Stay in.
Will, stay in the six.
Yes, Jake, go. Good boy. Press! Press! Yeah, it's all right. In my
Get up there, Gordon. Come on. Alex, up, up. Get there and then rest.
Jacob, go. Go, Jacob, go. Who's there, boys? Go on, run!
Go, Gordon. Alex, Alex, push. Go, Alex.
Let's go, B!
Yes, give me someone.
Hey, stop in! Don't let it come out, Gab! Don't let it come out!
Yeah. Come on.
What's the line, Johnny? You stay with the line.
I saw one today that I believe.
Yes, good ball, good ball. Come on, come on, come on. Well done, Alex.
No!
Ormeño, Ormeño. Ormeño. Michael! Help, support him. Deja ahí, Martín, deja para Alex. Control it!
Just run, Mo.
How many times? Same player, come on! Look for Lucky! Hey, Lucky! It's yours! Alex, good cross. Excellent. Well done.
I went up. Did you watch this? Did you watch the He just, I hate playing with this guy. Oh, I know. I actually go up there. Don't you fuck up the ball. Hey, what are you doing?
Alex, I'll work the card, Alex.
Go down, pick a player up. Push on 7. Go down. Closer. How many times? Same player.
Oh, look at this man.
Yes.
Oh! Yeah, go! Yes!
Well, it's all right now, but it'll be cold later.
Yeah.
Well done, boys. Well done.
Oh, Rob, check. Rob, yeah, yeah. Look out, Nicky, when he was through.
Keep going, keep going. Stay with it. Stay with it. Good. Take that, choose it, choose it. Nico! Hey, well done, Nico!
Here's the ball!
Switch it.
Get it!
Every time.
Go good.
Alex, open up. Get back, get it back. There it is. Let me go. Option. Hey, quiet. Someone else.
Oh my God.
Hit the ball!
Good boy, Moses.
Hold on. Stick off, push in the middle.
First time I went to a bar, it's ours. Oh, he caught a foul.
How do you make him stop the game, Nathan? How does he play on?
Everyone nice people around.
I looked at the hotline and I was like, oh shoot. They are lucky balls. You can do
Oh, he's got face. Oh my God, really? Oh yeah. I know, actually. I know what you're saying. Wow. Yeah, it's very big. What is your name? I know. I really do respect that.
I thought it was quite good. That one I was making.
Someone just hit their head. It was mature. Or Frank. Is he? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Last week was a great goal from last week. I was supposed to go. I was supposed to go. I didn't watch it. Yeah, we didn't see this movie. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't even that bad. It was the second one. It was a remake. It's a remake. I think we pretty much set it up for a second. Yeah.
Why would you hit any species?
Oh, it's 6 days. I didn't know she was into the last time. There was something that's hard to think about.
I just saw it play, and it
That could sound they could just build on Oh, no, probably more. I mean, they can move. When they get good, it looks good.
I'm going to feel like about 4 with I'm looking to see where they're already
yeah, busy going in the Vegas. It's so much Vegas. Jack, what are those shoes called? I was looking at something the other day. Were they like was Vaggies or something? No. Where'd you get them? Yeah. Size 14. Yeah. I only drink water. No, you didn't. You didn't see me drinking your hand. That was close. I did actually.
Hey Chris, you need a hand?
Slowly.
Chris,
Yeah, I had
you need a hand?
travelling from Coombe. Did I have a hair?
I've got two hands here.
Oh, mate, there it is.
Unfit. Tuck in now, tuck in. Tommy, tuck in. Get back now, Omar, get back! Work! Good. That's it. Well done. Fabi. Fabian.
Not being done.
Make the run! Go! Switch! Press! Yeah, play! Uma, push. That's it. Uma. Run it in. Uma! Go, Fabi, go, you're on, go! That's right. Come on! Uma, look at Fabi! Play! Play again! Good! Left! What are you guys
Well done, Tammy. Great effort.
Well done, boys. Come on!
Work, Moses!
Come back, come back! Adrian! Drive!
No, she asked me to take it. I thought I was dead.
Adrian!
Come back, Roma! Come back! More!
Go H!
Come
Get it back, Tom.
Work, move, work.
Yes. Fabi, work! Switch! Yes, Uma, Go! Now cross! Perfect! Get it back! Well done, Fabi, roll back! Uma! Let him know you're there! Push now, push!
One, two. Mohammed!
Come up to set, that's yours!
One minute!
Go, Alex, go! Well done, Alex! Cover it, one of you cover it! Commit! That's it! Good work, Alex! Now with it, there! Yes, well done, boys!
Will! Lock it up, Brian! Lock it up!
Shuffle, Madeline.
And again, Mohammed, let's go. No rest. Let's go, Tommy, no rest. Come on, this. Run, Mohammed.
He's offside. Get out!
Offers like that, they come very often.
Don't think go, and once you draw, then you can play. If he's retreating, give me space to go further off the pitch.
Back, Nico, one.
Hey, Freeman's got to come out.
Good work, Johnny.
Adrian, tell Mohammed in front.
Yeah, that's right.
Up the back, Harry. Up the back.
Thanks, Russ.
Johnny! Back in!
Le! Corvino!
Yeah. Only the best.
Doesn't matter to me. Do we have any ice?
No, I didn't get any. Where can I go? In here somewhere? Surely there'd be some. I'll go make them.
Sorry, mate. Good? Yeah, then. Yeah. About 20,000 credit.
And then it takes the body off work and then Saturday on the range Thursday and Saturday and then Saturday. Felt fine,
Thursday, Friday, I was doctoring today at the camera. She said, do that on Thursday.
yeah. My last night, I didn't get to sleep till like 2:30.
Come on, Sammy! Come on!
Good luck, mate.
Very good.
Lock it up, Tommy! Lock it up, Tommy!
Get forward! Good! Oma! Okay.
Hi, how are you? Not bad. Not bad. Hi. Are you doing the commentary?
Yeah, we
Oh, good job.
Stay, Tony, stay. Mohammed, hi!
Yeah.
70% possession.
Harvey, fuck. Too many. Get close to it. Get close to it. Two comes back.
I handed the flag to one of the. Get down there. Yeah, it's all right. I can make still running past you. How can be offside? You want the flag?
Now pass. Good. Eat up!
Go get it, Tommy!
Pick the player up!
Hey, Tommy!
It's a special bag.
Uma! Finish! Position. Push up. Harvey, tuck in.
Just keep your players on so you don't get a $500 fine.
Right, nobody needs to say that. Your standards.
Good afternoon and welcome to the AIS in sunny Canberra. It's Men's National Premier League football. It's a huge game at the top of the table. It's second versus third. It's Gungahlin United versus Tigers FC. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me this afternoon, as always, Steve Forshaw. Steve, after yesterday's results and heading into next week, this isn't going to matter for Tigers too much because it's going to go to the wire 1v2 with their game against Canberra Olympic next week, but they'll want to win this afternoon to take over top spot.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if they can win today, then they'll only need a draw next week. I think if I've read the tables right. So there's a lot riding on this game for both teams. I mean, certainly from a Gungahlin perspective, they want to win to sort of cement a top four spot. From a Tigers perspective, puts pressure back on Olympic. So we can look forward to a really, really exciting game.
Two results yesterday: Canberra Olympic 5, Riverina Rhinos 1, Monaro Panthers 1, Belconnen United 4. We'll come to the Belconnen game in a moment. Let's talk about Canberra Olympic first, though. That result puts them 2 points clear of Tigers FC, meaning obviously a win puts Tigers top, a draw will put them within a point of Canberra Olympic heading to next week's title decider.
Yeah, so like you were saying earlier on, everything to play for next week. Tigers Olympic will be the championship decider. But I think from a Tigers point of view, a win today gives them a little bit of momentum, gives them a bit of confidence going into the game next week. And Olympic are in really good form, so they'll need to be on the medal.
After only losing one game all season, they've now lost two in a week. When they lost to Hume City in the FFA Cup and were beaten by Canberra FC, of course. So much to play for Tigers FC. Let's have a look at Gungahlin United, though. At the moment, and we stress at the moment because there's still some talk around the Gungahlin Belconnen game if it's going to be replayed again. They've been given the 3 points as we stand in a 2-0 win. So as we stand at the moment, Gungahlin third with 25 points. But Canberra FC fourth with 23. Belconnen United, who've now finished your games yesterday, Steve, fifth with 23. But again, a caveat on that as well. You may be getting 3 points off the rearranged a forfeit by Riverina Rhinos, depending on if that decision goes your way.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously there's a lot of water to go under the bridge before those decisions are finalised. But at the moment, there's three teams competing for the third and fourth spots. So it's made for a very interesting culmination to the season. But we're hoping from a Belconnen point of view to get the points against the Riverina Rhinos. We've done everything we can in the last couple of games to get maximum points, to put pressure on the teams above us. But Gungahlin and FC are also in good form, so it could go either way.
If, and this is a big if Gungahlin are given the 3 points against Belconnen United or win that, then only a point today should be enough for finals football for them, taking them to 26 because of their huge goal difference, which at the moment is 16 better than Canberra FC and 23 better than Belconnen.
Yeah, that's right. Their goal difference is effectively worth a point.
Is that your mum calling, Steve?
That'll be somebody looking for groceries.
So 23 points, as we said, to Belconnen after your win yesterday, 4-1 against the Monaro Panthers. Good result for you guys. That ends Monaro Panthers' season as well.
Yeah. I mean, the last two games have been really important from a Belconnen point of view because Tuggeranong and Monaro, prior to those two games being played, were still in the hunt, and we've been able to sort of put them out of the misery and end their season prematurely in terms of finals propositions. But there's just so much convoluted and complexity to go through before this season sorts itself out that nobody can rest easy at this stage.
We can't even say that you can't do anything about it as far as Belconnen is concerned, because if that match is replayed against Gungahlin, although you'll be going in 2-0 down, there's still an outside chance you could get something from that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if we have to play the game, which is looking increasingly more likely, then we'll approach it from the point of view that it's 0-0 and we'll go and try and win it. But it's 2-0 down and you've only got 70 minutes to play, then it's a difficult ask.
Gungahlin United, 25 points, as I said, from 14 games, or potentially 22 from 13 games. We'll see. What we do know is that next week they finish their season by travelling to Deakin Stadium to play Canberra FC, and that's not going to be a given by any stretch of the imagination, given the form that Canberra FC have been in over the past few weeks.
Certainly I was impressed with the way they played against Tuggeranong in midweek when they run a very, very comfortable 5-0 winners. The result the weekend before against Tigers at Nijong was a great result and could have been more than the 1-0 scoreline. So they're hitting their straps at the right end of the season, and if they can squeak into the top four, you'd be a brave man to say they couldn't win it.
So we know Tigers FC and Canberra Olympic are definitely in the top four. We don't know where they're going to finish, 1 or 2. That will be decided over the next 2 weeks. Gungahlin United, Canberra FC, Belconnen United, all pushing for that top 4 spots. Mathematics, get the abacus out and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But this afternoon, we'll go some way towards clearing that picture up a little bit. Gungahlin against Tigers FC. Both teams will be coming out. Interestingly, if you hadn't noticed, we are at the synthetic fields and the AAS, not at the grass fields where we normally were. The grass fields have been closed. Puts a bit of a different dimension on the ball game, doesn't it, playing on this surface?
It's the great unknown. We don't know how either team is going to handle the synthetic. I mean, I fancy that Gungahlin, with their neat passing, will favour this sort of surface, but it's just as likely to be suitable for Tigers because they are the sort of team that can adapt themselves to any sort of condition and have proved all year that they can get something out of games even when faced with the most adverse of conditions. So it's a great unknown, as I said.
I was at the game earlier in the season with David Jordan from Capital Football calling the match in round 8 down at Nijong Oval, where Gungahlin United overran the Tigers 3-1. Michael John and a brace from Jeremy Habtemeri and Mark Shields pulled one back for Tigers to bring them on level terms. Good match, that one, but Gungahlin really exposed the right-hand side of Tigers FC defence that day, stretching the play as much as they could and using their pace.
I expect that they'll do something similar today. They like to push people on, certainly down on the left-hand side. They're Gungahlin left with Jack Green, although it's possible that he'll play a more central role today, and that may affect the way they approach the game. But they've got pace, they've got talent, they've got lovely combination play through the midfield, so there's no reason why they can't approach this game confident that they can get the 3 points.
The two teams are lined up to our left, just out of your picture, waiting to come onto the field, led by the respective skippers, Mark Shields for Tigers FC and Jack Green for Gungahlin United. Tigers wearing their FFA Cup embroidered shirts. They were beaten 2-0 by Hume City. And that, let's have a look at the two teams then, Steve. Starting with Gungahlin, the home side, 3-4-3 lineup. Jordan Thurtell in goal. A back three of Ross Costanzo, Jack Green and Badraldin Abbas. Midfield four, Antonio Timotheu, Tom McLaughlin, Samuel Habtemem and Nick Rathjen. Front three, Michael John, Mishka Namoski and Zach Barbatano.
Yeah, it's an unusual lineup for them. I mean, the fulcrum of their midfield has been Josh Gaspari this season, but he's had to be carrying a bit of a knock, and he starts today on the bench. And how they replace him will go a long way to determining how this game actually pans out. But, you know, the fact that they haven't got the strongest 11 on the park with Gaspari missing doesn't necessarily mean that they will approach the game any less confident. They've got a reasonably settled lineup. They've played 3-4-3 all year. There's no reason at all that we can't see Gungahlin take the game to the Tigers.
Gungahlin bench, Liam Walsh, Bernard Brenet, Josh Gaspari, Riley Angela Santi and Torrent Blanche, interestingly not going with a reserve goalkeeper amongst the subs, Marcel Munoz. Tigers FC, 4-4-2 for them, Jacob Cole in goal, Jared Tonini, Lawrence Redmond, Tony Spaseski and Darren Bailey at left back, Michael Keita, Jose Di Felipe, Naul Guerrero and Hussein Faresh in midfield. The front two, as usual, Goran Jozefowski and Mark Shields.
Yeah, very settled lineup, very similar to the lineup we saw against Hume City in the FFA Cup, with the exception that Keita starts, and he made a big difference when he came on in the second half for Tigers, and I'm expecting that he will have some influence on the game today. It's a settled lineup. It's been consistent all season. Like I said earlier, they've found ways to win games or get something out of games. They'll be confident, and they know now what the task in front of them is. If they can get the points today, they slip back onto the top of the table, and then they face an Olympic side that's raring to go as well.
Tigers bench, Tony Madafari, Dimitri Paraskos, Boyan Tasetsky, Lockie Kamensky, the young under-20s player, and Mitchell Kay. Your match referee is Alex Toomey, Mark Young and Jordan King on the line. With the synthetic fields, there's been snow around Canberra this weekend. Wouldn't know it looking out here today, bright blue skies. The weather's not too bad.
It's not too bad at all. I mean, it really has been cold in Canberra over the last few days, but today we get a decent day.
No excuses for no football on this field. With the way that the surface allows us to play. Should be a decent afternoon's football, Steve.
Yeah, and as we get set for the kickoff, Gungahlin the kickoff, and we're looking forward to a very exciting game.
Gunners immediately on the front foot with Barbatano. Cutting back infield. Rathjen. First touch from Gungahlin. Rathjen again. Marcel Munoz will be looking for his side to get off to a sharp start.
Well, certainly their intentions were made clear right from the word go with the long forward pass to find Barbatano, and he got him in behind.
This Barbatano's ball into the air. It's going to roll all the way through to Jacob Cole. Little subplot today, Steve. Darren Bailey, 6 yellow cards for the Tigers. Needs to be careful.
Yes, if he picks up another one today, I think that's next week's game and probably the first of the semi-finals. I think you go to 2-week suspension. So, yeah, he'll have to be on his toes.
Spiseski at the back.
Sorry, Russ, I'm just going to say it looks like Green's taken up his normal position on the left, and Constanzo is actually playing through the middle. And that's the difference between playing on the synthetic and playing on grass. That ball there just rolls too far for Nicky Rathjen, and the pace of this pitch is slightly different to what they're used to.
Crowd of 20,000 plus here at the AIS this afternoon. I mean, most of them, that is, over watching the Raiders versus the Roosters just over the road. It was an absolute nightmare to get here, wasn't it?
It was. Traffic was built up all the way along Ginninderra Drive.
And fair enough, though, there's a fair few here too. Watching this one.
Yeah, it's a good turnout.
Costanzo. Touch from Abbas to step away from his marker. And the cross came Guerrero to get a foot in. Here's Habtemariam, the younger of the two. No Jeremy Habtemariam today. Small niggle keeping him out of the team. And that's testing. Out of trouble for a moment. And Jacob Cole had to watch that all the way.
That was high enough to bring snow.
Yeah, no Jeremy Habtemariam was mentioning. It's a big miss.
Yeah, he's been a fixture of the starting 11, and he's added a little bit of quality to their attacking forte. But today he misses out, slight injury, and his brother slips in. Should be an easy transition, shouldn't it?
He's been in good goal scoring form, Samuel Habtemariam. 4 goals in his last 2 games.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that sort of form.
We hadn't had a first grade goal until he bagged one against the Rhinos, and then he got a second very quickly. That's against Ward and Western, I should say. And then, remarkably, did exactly the same thing in almost exactly the same minutes against the Rhinos a week later. Guerrero in midfield. Shields. Rathjen. It's Di Felipe. Shields took over there. And Bailey. I'm sure the Bailey clan are watching back in Scotland. Shout out to them if they are. And that's a decent ball.
Yeah,
to find Tellini.
Standard Bailey ball, that.
Jozefowski into the penalty area. And Abbas. No nonsense. Safety first approach.
It's a useful tactic against Gungahlin with the 3 at the back. If you can get that switch in, get it in early and find the overlapping fullbacks or get in a wide player into those spaces, you can actually cause some damage.
Coming to the close of the season, of course, it seems not that long ago that Abbas scored that own goal that gave Canberra FC the Charity Shield in the first competitive game of the season.
Yeah, things have changed since then.
Gungahlin.
It's a lovely pass.
Here's the Mosky. It's peeled out to the left and looks for Michael John through the middle. Opportunity here, shadowed by Redman. It's back for Timotheo, and it's got that all wrong.
And despite what we saw on the team sheet, we've got Green playing on the left of a back 3 and Michael John playing through the middle of the front 3. So slight shuffle of personnel.
Seems hard to fathom that a player of Anthony Timotheo's technique and craft has only scored the 1 goal this season, and that is in the 2-0 game, if that stands, against Belconnen United.
Yeah, and it was a belter, right in the top corner. But he's had a very good season in terms of providing assists to other players, so he is part of their attacking arsenal.
Costanzo finds John Thurtell. Former young Socceroo. Jordan Thurtell.
Yeah, came to Canberra from the west, I think.
Good ball forwards. Nomoski looking to get it into the area. It should be bread and butter for Jacob Cole. As I mentioned, 2 matches next week on the Sunday. to look forward to. Canberra FC versus Gungahlin United at Deakin Stadium. Canberra Olympic versus Tigers FC at O'Connor Enclose. No matter what happens here, that will decide the league title. Olympic at the moment with one hand on it. They'll still have work to do. That's a terrible mistake. And here's an opportunity for Timotheo. Couldn't take advantage. Straight down Cole's breadbasket.
Yeah, probably should have done better. I mean, it's a poor clearance from Jacob Cole, who's normally so reliable, and once it falls to the feet of Timotheo, you're expecting a more accomplished finish than what we've got.
Shields brings it down, loses out. Does his best to get it back. Here's De Felipe. A little bit of space for Farej. Abbas ahead of him.
Offside.
And the flag goes up against Goran Jozefovski. Hassan Farej, it's been his best season in Tigers colours, you'd think.
Scored quite a few, hasn't he? Been on the score sheet regularly, and he's actually caused problems down this left-hand side. And they'll be hoping that he can continue that sort of form today.
Netted 4 during the season. Important goal in a draw against Canberra FC. The first in a 3-2 win over Belconnen. The last in a 3-0 win over Woden Western. And the clincher in the narrow 2-0 win over Riverina. Long ball forward's going to bounce for Cole. No excuses on this surface, Steve?
There's no excuses for touch. It's just a very, very difficult surface to get used to if you haven't played on it regularly.
Spaseski. Flag stays down here. Here's Tanini. Opportunity for Tigers. Jared Tanini in on goal. Decent save, Thurtell. Had players square of him as well.
Yeah.
Might have been the wrong option.
He should have
saved from the keeper.
It was a good, I mean, he's entitled to make the save, but he's done what he's supposed to do. But realistically, Tanini should have been feeding other players, and Tigers would have been 1-0 up had he seen the other options.
Here is Tanini again, swinging it into the penalty area, but that was drifting out of play.
Yeah.
Real chance there, and they broke the Gungahlin back 3, and I guess when you have a back 3, you're going to leave gaps.
Absolutely. I mean, you've seen already that Jack Green on the left-hand side and Abbas on the right-hand side push very, very high and leave Costanzo a little isolated. And if you can get in behind the two central defenders that are playing in those wider areas, you're a real chance.
McLaughlin, Namoski stretching the field, taking on Keita. Habtemariam. Timotheo. A bit too crowded. And Farej comes away with it momentarily. Spaseski helping out his teammates. Tanini, perhaps one of the most underrated players in the competition.
Certainly doesn't mind getting forward, does he, Tanini? He's almost playing like a right winger at the moment.
Here's Redmond. A standout season for him as well. Barbatano, a bit of space here for Michael John. Shooting opportunity perhaps. Squeezed it wide for Namoski. Chance. Great save, Cole. Off the crossbar. Hapteman with a rebound. And Gungahlin United are in front. Johnny on the spot. Samuel Haptemarian's scoring streak continues. The Gunners go ahead.
Yeah, poachers finished. Samuel Haptemarian going where the good goal scorers go. Great save from Cole. Poor ball out from Redmond, playing dead straight into Josefovski's, or trying to find Josefovski's feet. The ball gets turned over and Gungahlin punish them on the break.
A 5th of the season for Samuel Haptemarian. And the perfect start for Gungahlin United, only 9 minutes in. And that probably got a healthy cheer in the Acacia household as well.
I probably did, yeah. Yeah, the Olympic boys will be happy with that.
So questions being asked of Tigers. Here's Rathjen. Barbatano, who played a big part in that. It's his ball over the top that found Michael John in the first instance. But unlucky perhaps not to play as many games this season as that Barbatano.
Yeah, look, he's sort of cemented a regular starting spot in the last 5 or 6 weeks. But prior to that, they were in really good form, and he was trying to get a foot in the door from the bench. And he's had a good year. He's a good young player.
Here is Haptemariam. Finds John. Loses out on this occasion. Here's De Felipe. Tanini outside. Shields need the skipper to stand up now. Good ball forward, looking for Jozefowski. He's going to skip off that turf, though. And Jordan Thurtell was out to pick it up.
Good move. Good move. Just slightly overweighted the pass.
Timothy. Rathjen. Jozefowski snapping at his heels, winning it back. And Guerrero, well, he tried his luck. He saw something. Saw the spectacular.
He did. Saw the headline. Thurtell was off his line, but it was a really, really difficult option.
Would have been something special had he pulled it off. Meanwhile, that's a decent ball forward by Thurtell again. Nomoski's broken the offside trap. Keita's back to tidy up. Don't mind a direct pass or two.
No, and it looks like Keita's dropping in at right back and Tanini's playing a little bit further forward. And, you know, they know the players better than I do, but that would appear to be the wrong way round. I think they'll get more out of Keita higher up the pitch.
Ball in towards a penalty. Redmond knocks it clear. De Felipe. Keita. It's easy for Jack Green. There'll be no real hurry. Brings a lot of calm to the Gungahlin backline, Jack Green.
Yeah.
So hardly a breath of wind here today. Perfect conditions for football. Even given the parking extremes.
Yeah. No, there's lovely day for the game.
It's Jozefowski nods it down the line to Farej. You feel he's got the beating of Abbas. And he has here. A good ball across the face of goal. And Green needed to be alert to clear. Now the break might be on for those black and white stripes. Nomoski finds a goal scorer. Samuel Habtemariam. Lovely little touch to find. McLaughlin works it nicely. Here they come. Timotheo. Barbatano's peeled off to the right. That's where it's gone. It's that Barbatano. Looks to swing it in. And a good foot in from Darren Bailey defensively. He's been struggling over the past week and a half, Darren Bailey, with the flu or scratchy throat that most of us have been having.
Yeah. Been a lot of it around.
He freely admitted to us before kickoff that he was chasing shadows against Canberra FC last week because he could hardly breathe.
Well, they looked a little flat last week, but they'll be encouraged by the fact that they've actually been able to create some chances, even though at the moment they haven't got a shot on goal, or they haven't created that clear-cut chance other than the one that fell to Tanini. But they've got in behind Buddy Abbas on this side, and they've actually looked as if they're capable, but they'll need to sort of keep possession a little bit better and bring Shields into the game if they're going to get any joy in front of goal.
Samuel Habtemariam started the game well, notwithstanding his goal as well. He's very comfortable in a first-grade shirt. Green casually plucks it out of the sky. Thurtell asks a fair bit of Abbas with that one. The fullback responded to the challenge. Nice touch, Timotheo. Redmond. Good ball forwards for Resch. Now Shields. Flag goes up, though, against Mark Shields.
Yeah.
Just straight offside with the initial pass from Farej.
Once again, just little signs that they can work themselves into the game. Get Shields into the position where he can actually either bring people in or get a chance to finish.
Here's another match taking place this afternoon. Pride only on the line in the Southside Derby, Tuggeranong versus Woden Western. Always a decent affair, that one, though.
Yeah, the Southside Derby always creates some sort of interest.
Used to play for a trophy as well. I'm not sure they still do.
That was in the Mount Taylor Trophy?
I think it was, yeah. Here's Timotheo. Green. Happy to go home to Thurtell. We've seen this a lot this season. Thurtell looking for Nomoski. It's getting a fair bit coming out of the sunshine.
The inclusion of Thurtell as a replacement for Laguda has seen a slight change of tactics, and in that first part of the season, it was very, very rare that they would be so direct. But since Thurtell's come in and he's got that in his locker, they do tend to play a little bit over the top of midfield.
Must have wondered what he came into, Jordan Thurtell. His debut was against Canberra Olympic over the road here on the grass, and they lost 7-2. And a week later, they went down to Tuggeranong and he conceded 3 more.
Yeah, it was not not the most auspicious of starts, was it?
Since then, though, he's found his feet.
Oh, he's a good keeper.
It wasn't his fault. Well, I'm not suggesting it was. In fact, if I remember rightly, if it wasn't for Jordan Thurtell, it may have been 14 or 15. His ball over against Canberra Olympic. Made some outstanding saves.
He did. He kept him in the game for long periods.
It's Barbatano. McLaughlin in the more recognisable position in midfield this week. Has been playing central defence.
He has, but his distribution in the first 10 or 15 minutes has been immaculate.
He feels more at home, I think, in the centre of the park.
Yeah, that's his natural home.
Here's John. Good strength from the forwards. Used to... Michael John, former Olympic and Tagalong United striker. Here's Abbas. Rathjen. Nice touch. Barbatano again. It's an appreciative round of applause. Here's Habta Merriam. Lovely ball in towards Michael John. Just too far for him, but should be rescued by Namoski. Not many in yellow shirts back. It's Namoski. Pulls it back. Chance for Timotheo, and he scuffed it wide.
Should have done
better. Great move, though, from Gungahlin.
Absolutely, but they're all over the place defensively. Keita at right back has a tendency to just switch off, and they're just exploiting that right-hand side, their left, with some ease.
Good win from Abbas. Again, Barbatano with a little piece of trickery. Had to Merriam a bit of more than he could chew on that occasion. Shields wins his team a throw. Interesting perch for us this afternoon, right behind the Gungahlin dugout.
Not a bad view, though.
Bit in worse. And at least that weather that we were promised, the polar blast, isn't coming through.
No, we've probably seen the worst of it. Probably seen the worst of it Thursday, Friday, but my goodness, thank goodness, it's gone. It was cold.
Cold enough to snow around my neck of the woods in Gugong. Pleased the kids no end. Here's Timotheo. McLaughlin. Green foraging forwards. He likes a bit of a run, Jack Green. Off he goes, stretching the legs. Namoski into the area. Pulls it back. Sam Habtaman. Chance for two. Blocked by Redman.
The second goal is only a matter of time. If they don't sort out the right-hand side, they're in trouble.
Here's McLaughlin. We mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. It's where they picked them apart last time.
Yeah.
Down at Nijong. It was that right-hand side. De Felipe looking to bring a bit of calmness to the team. Spaseski. Keita. Interesting thing when Green brought that forward as well. He had options left and right, didn't he? And here's John. Barbatano made a great run out to this near side.
Yeah. The midfield looks very, very pedestrian at the moment, and that's been one of their strengths this year. The back four as well has been really reasonably solid, but they're just a little sixes and sevens at the moment.
Our Tigers running out of steam at the wrong time of the season.
Yeah, possibly. Possibly. The psychological damage of going out of the cup, there's a lot to get over as well. Although they play quite well. Second half particularly.
Well, they're still not out of this, of course. It's only 1-0. Anything could happen. Barbatano, free kick against Jose De Felipe. Thought he won the ball there.
Oh, I think it's going his way. I think it was the late challenge from one of the Gungahlin players.
Certainly is. De Felipe gets us going quickly. Spaseski. Jozefowski. Beaten to it by McLaughlin. Just too strong, Tom McLaughlin. Timotheo. Ball towards Sam Habtamarian. Bailey should be there. Defends it well. You might have picked that up on the little bit of fruity language from the left back.
There's a little bit of Glasgow lyrical.
Wants his side to give it a little bit more urgency, I think.
Especially through the middle, apparently.
That's where it's coming. The midfield is getting ripped apart at the moment. Here's Faresh. Gets past Rathjen. Will do well to keep that in on this field, though. Just skips away from you.
Yeah. Rathjen did enough, didn't he, then? But at the moment, it's all Gungahlin.
Nick Rathjen, one of those players in the Gungahlin team that, on paper at the start of the season, you were thinking maybe would he struggle to get into this 11, but he's been a mainstay and a fantastic footballer for this season.
Yeah, I think at one stage he was contemplating a move to Monero to follow Jimmy Canarides over there, but having a long chat with Marcel Munoz, he sort of asked to play in the midfield, and he's been rewarded with that, and he's actually done the right thing by his coach.
Come into his own this season, Nick Rathjen.
Former Belconnen boy.
He scored the opening goal in the 3-2 loss to Tuggeranong. Well, it's a bit late from Bailey. And as we said, he's got to be a bit careful here, Darren. Bailey already on 6 yellow cards. Doesn't want to pick up another one. As you say, missed the title decider and the first round of finals.
Yeah, and he was late.
Lucky, perhaps.
He was lucky to dodge one there. I mean, one of his strengths, of course, is his aggression. You don't want to take that out of his game, but, 6 yellow cards speaks volumes.
Back in his homeland, that's just a love tap. Free kick for Timotheo. He's got good delivery. Swings it towards Green. Too high on that time. Gave him a bit of a curse. It's a live football on Bar TV Sports. You're watching Gungahlin United leading Tigers FC. Samuel Habsamariam with the 9th minute goal. Reacting quickest to a fantastic save from Jacob Cole. Came back off the crossbar.
Yeah, Cole did his job, didn't he? And
so Nomoski got a fair piece of it as well, didn't he?
Oh, it was a good strike. Yeah, it was a good strike.
Rathjen picks up the pieces, looks for John. Well marshalled on that occasion by Lawrence Redmond. Tigers want it. Tigers aren't going to get it. It's a gunner's throw. Abbas to take. Stab it forward. At the moment, the game quieting down a little after that frenzied opening.
Just gone into a bit of a lull, hasn't it?
Shields fouls Rathjen.
Yeah.
Free kick Gunners. Chance for the Green to go forward, perhaps.
Easy one for Alex to give.
Timotheo wants to go to Green, but not quite in the manner we expected. Green's return ball is a cracker. Barbatano kills it brilliantly. And off he goes, looking to take on Farej. Wanted the free kick. Farej accusing Barbatano of diving. And what have we got here in the end? Was the free kick given, or was it a corner?
I'm not sure what that is. Looks like
he may have given a free kick.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those that could have been given, I suppose, but he looked in a good position to make the decision by himself. I don't know that he needed the assistance of the linesman. As
it was, Barbatano went down under the challenge, gets a free kick.
Yeah, there was definitely contact, but I think he's just caught him while he's a bit off balance. And
it's a good chance, this, Timotheo, to load the ball into the penalty area. Not many black and white shirts taking the opportunity to advance forwards. It's not his best free kick, and Nomoski is going to concede one the other way. Well, a bit of an anticlimax.
It was, and that's another opportunity for the referee to sort of get his cards out, but he's left them in his pocket. So 25 minutes in?
Yeah, 20 minutes to half-time, and Gabby Wilkes still not suspended. So behind the bench today, I think.
Is he still?
Or is he back? No, I think he's back, actually. Could see him on the bench there with J.A. Wilk. Probably looking to figure out a way back into this one, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll test him. It'll test him because Gungahlin are doing well.
Abbas finds Timotheo. Rathjen to McLaughlin. We'll switch, change of direction, but Keita was there. That's a foul on Tanini. Jack Green, the culprit. De Felipe wants to go early, and it was a decent ball too to Goran Jozefovski, but it's been pulled back by Alex Toomey.
I think he's sort of put player welfare before the opportunity for a goal.
And I think everybody knew that.
Yeah. Not a bad ball forward, though.
Yeah, it's beautifully weighted. Bailey standing behind this one. Tigers committed 7 to this attack. What can Bailey do with the delivery? Decent one into Noel Guerrero, who won the header. Went the wrong way, though, as far as he's concerned. And in fact, Alex Toomey's given the free kick.
Yeah, there was a little push on Barbatano, I think, and the referee was just looking to play the advantage that didn't accrue, so back we come for the free kick.
Thurtell, no doubt, will aim for his forwards. It's a good ball out to Sam Hattamariam. Too high for him to deal anything too constructive with it. Spaseski under pressure. McLaughlin's touch. Here's Hattamariam. John looking to spin and create a bit of space for himself. Didn't quite come off, and Bailey fizzed that one towards Faresh. Again, it's rolled away on this surface.
It was a good idea, just you've got to get the weight perfect on this pitch.
Would have been all right at Nigel. Costanzo, it's a bit loose. Picked up by Guerrero, and he tries his luck again from range when perhaps he had other options.
Yeah. Just a little over anxious to get this equaliser, and a bit of patience, and they'll get a result.
Farej. Shields. Taken off his toe by Rathjen. Just under 20 minutes left of the half. Samuel Hattamariam's goal dividing the two teams, and at the moment probably securing Gunners finals football, you would think.
Go a long way towards it. Yeah, FC won, and we'll be looking at this and thinking that Gungahlin get the 3 points today. It's a tough game for them next week.
Especially if Belconnen awarded the 3 for the River Arena game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's a must-win game for Canberra FC. Against a team that gave them a 5-0 tuning earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Different Canberra FC now, though.
Yes, absolutely. And
Farej, Jozowski flags up again. Another offside decision. That's 4 or 5 now.
yeah.
Ball out from Thurtell towards Barbatano. Again, kills it absolutely imperiously and tries to find Timotheo. Abbas to Rathjen. McLaughlin. McLaughlin wins it back. Ball round the corner, but this time it's picked off by Spaseski, and Shields is off and away.
If you'd have played that properly, he was in. Certainly not offside. There was no flag going up.
Well, it's hit the corner flag and stayed in play. And Abbas has brought it away. And Bailey sends it right back from where it came.
No nonsense clearance.
Yeah, good point, Steve, because down the middle there towards Shields, and he's in on goal.
Yeah. They just really haven't come to grips with this midfield 4.
Redmond striding out of defence. Di Felipe. Farej has peeled away here. Chance for Farej to deliver something for the Tigers. Looking to take on Rathjen.
Too slow. Get the ball into the box, and there were a chance when they just dwelled on it when he didn't need to.
Wanted 3 touches when 2 would have done, probably.
Yeah.
And that would have been frustrating for Jozowski and Shields, who were waiting to pull the trigger in the middle. No nonsense defending again from Rathjen.
Just working their way back into it. The last 2 or 3 minutes, they've just sort of got a little bit of possession and started to put a bit of pressure on the back 3 of the Gungahlin, and maybe this is the turning point that they need.
Bailey with a long throw. Flicked on by Guerrero. McLaughlin's foot.
It was high.
It was definitely raised. And here's a break for Gungahlin with Nomoski. Shows that adventurous Gungahlin. Now Jack Green was
Yeah.
furthest forward on that one.
Yeah. Certainly in transition, they're very, very quick, and they don't mind pushing Jack Green. Certainly down that left-hand side forward.
Tonini's challenge, and it's going to race away. And Josefowski's managed to keep it in on the far side. Looking to take on Costanzo.
Gets a
and wins
corner.
the corner. And they'll throw everybody forward here, and this probably suits Gungahlin. In fact, they've sent everybody back, apart from Spaseski, and then they go short to Bailey. Creates himself a bit of space here, Bailey. Cut out by Costanzo, and here is the break. Redmond's back there. Does well, Redmond, to help Spaseski.
Wow.
Ball forward from Cole. There's about 7 Tigers players that looked offside there. The flag does go up for some reason, and that header is poor from Costanzo. Here's Keita. Thurtell needs to get it, and he does. But that was a real chance for the Tigers.
Telling, though, that so many players in yellow were walking back. 6 or 7 players had failed to get back on side, and it was Keita making that a lung buster to get in that eventually put some pressure on Thurtell, who did really well to negate the attack.
It wasn't his clearance, was it? But he did enough to put Keita off.
Yeah.
And as you said, Keita's run forward. Everybody stopped because there was half a dozen Tigers players offside, and of course Keita wasn't. That's a passable opportunity if he could have got a touch on that ball.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Thurtell certainly made a sort of goal-saving interception.
And he's warned Keita for part of it. Got a bit of a knock here, the goalkeeper. Bit of treatment for Jordan Thurtell. Started the season at Canberra FC.
This is interesting if it's a more serious injury than it looks, because there is no replacement keeper.
Well, they've made the decision not to play a replacement keeper today. Jaden Virtue is the usual backup. Liam Walsh, Bernard René, Josh Kaspari, Ridley, Angelo Santi and Toran Blanche. The substitutes. Massive roar from the stadium there, Steve.
I know. They probably showed the replay of the goal from here, have they?
I think that's probably what it was. Everyone taking the chance to get some fluids in. Just to recap yesterday's results. Canberra Olympic 5, Riverina Rhinos 1. Monero Panthers 1, Belconnen United 4.
What was that last one?
You heard. Canberra Olympic 25 plus goal difference, 34 points, top of the table, 2 points ahead of Tigers, who as it stands on 32 with a plus 17 goal difference. Gungahlin United up to 28 points, and their plus 27 goal difference. Canberra FC 23, Belconnen 23, Canberra FC plus 10, Belconnen plus 3. But, as we said at the top of the show, plenty of things happening both on and off the field,
yeah,
which may change that scenario.
A convoluted denouement, you might say.
So looking at Gungahlin United, if they are to make the finals and make the grand final, they're running with Belconnen United, Tigers, Canberra FC, then probably Olympic, and then one of those top 4 again. Some finish to the season. And of course, you're taking the -6 that they got into the equation as well.
Well, if they'd have had those 6 points, they're well and truly in the top 4 now, aren't they? Pushing top of the table.
They'll be on for the title, wouldn't they, really?
Yeah.
With their goal difference. Here's Guerrero looking to change the point of attack. Ferrej, though, can't reel it in.
Sort of things that were working for him earlier in the season are just sort of not working now.
Abbas. Costanzo. Looking for Sam Habtemariam. Mishko Namoski back to Habtemariam. Just ran into Naul Guerrero. Keita. Guerrero. Picked off by Green.
Good job he did, because he was away.
Timotheo. 6 up in this attack. Good ball too to find Namoski. Sits up onto his left foot. Nishka Namoski denied by Jacob Cole. That was going top corner.
That's a fantastic strike and an even better save. But once again, the Tigers' defence all over the place, and just being completely stretched and torn apart.
Go short with the corner. Barbazzano might be a left foot curler here in towards Hampton Merriam with a header. It's off the crossbar. Rebound Green. 2-0 Gungahlin.
No,
flag is up.
Flag was
Won't
already,
count.
Don't count.
Tigers dodge a bullet. Again, the defending was nowhere. When Sam Hampton Merriam, the free header, he's not exactly 6'6", is he?
Not renowned for his strength in the air, but he's found space there, and his header was a good one. And Jack Green was there to sort of poke it home, but it was Sam Hampton Merriam, I think, that they had in the offside position.
No VAR, of course. That would have been you, Steve.
What's that?
The VAR.
Yeah. Actually, I was watching the game last night from the UK on beIN Sports, and in the Championship there is no VAR, but in the Premier League there is, and Leeds, the team that I was following, could have had 2 penalties on if the VAR had been in use.
No VAR here, of course. Tigers perhaps dodging one there. Is Farej into the final 10 minutes of the first half. Hampton Merriam away from the first one, not away from Redmond. Sliding challenge from the big central defender.
Just need a little bit more out of Farej. He's had a little bit of service and he's not been able to do much with it at the moment.
Timotheo. Farej wins the ball. Costanzo. 2 Tigers players miss that one, and it falls for Timotheo. McLaughlin. Change of direction with the pass to Hampton Merriam. He'll take on Michael Keita, who stands strong in the fullback position.
Once again, the ability to Gungahlin to stretch the pitch is causing problems.
It's Nowoski. Space for Rathjen to pick the ball through to Timotheo, who didn't read the intention and make the run.
No, but I think Bailey probably had it covered. He nearly slipped up by getting a touch on it when he didn't need to, but would have been a soft corner to give away.
So twice Gungahlin have hit the crossbar, twice they've had the ball in the net off the rebounds, but only once has it counted. Which means Tigers are still in the contest. Costanzo's ball forwards. Redmond wins their header. Keita up towards Di Felipe, beaten by McLaughlin, and Timotheo with a lovely pass. First time left foot. Out to Nowoski. In towards Timotheo. Lays it in towards Green. Great move this. Real chance for John. I think the flag had gone up. It would have been an outstanding goal.
It would have been a fantastic team goal, but once again, Michael Keita in that right-hand fullback spot has just been completely outplayed.
Di Felipe. Bailey raking crossfield ball for Tonini, who once that went over his head, he was never going to keep it in.
No, it was a good idea, but if it's not perfect on this surface, you're not getting it.
It's an area of the field, that full-back position, that caused Tigers all sorts of problems at Nijong. It's causing them all sorts of problems again here. Flags up once more, though. Michael John just went a little bit too early.
Yeah, that was a more clear-cut decision, I think, than the last couple.
When I spoke about this with David Jordan down in Nigel, we thought they must do something about it at half-time in that game. They didn't, surprisingly. Here's Hampton Merriam. Barbazzano looking to take on Bailey. Chance here for Zach Barbazzano. Can he pick out a Gungahlin shirt? He can't. That was smashed clear by Di Felipe. You feel a second goal is looming.
Yeah,
McLaughlin.
after a good period by Tigers. Gungahlin back on top. I'm sorry, I was dreaming.
waiting for you to finish your point. Barbatano. Abbas.
Barbatano's been one of the better players on the park. Touches
Silky touch, isn't it? Just kills everything that comes his way. Good win, Spaseski on that occasion. Keita helps it further forwards. Here's De Felipe in the middle of the park. Closed down straight away by a combination of Timothy and McLaughlin. Redman, Shields. Just a little clip by Rathjen.
Yeah. Well, is the set piece the way back for Kuma?
Darren Bailey behind it.
His delivery's been good this year. Very consistent.
Again, everybody in a yellow shirt apart from Spaseski in front of the ball. Bailey swings it towards that far post. Good win by Green to nod it clear. Keita straight back.
It's in Canberra football, it's set pieces 101 that you don't play it towards Jack Green. You've got to either block his run or play it somewhere else because you'll win everything in the air.
1 goal here, 1 goal at Tuggeranong. Tuggeranong lead Woden Western by a goal to nil. Hamid Pojahishkar, we believe, with the goal. Former Kuma Tiger. Giving Tuggeranong the lead in the Southside Derby. This happened to Merriam. Almost studded it through to where John was lurking. Barbatano. Off he goes. For a wrestling match between Spaseski and John. Rathjen robs Guerrero. He's got runners inside him. Barbatano was one of them. Still going, Barbatano. Had no right to win it and had no right to hit the post, I think. Sloppy defending. It's not over yet from the Tigers. Timotheu in towards Hampton Merriam. Flag stays down. Could have been 2-0.
Should have been 2-0 on more than one occasion. And that one was a perfect opportunity for them to score just before half-time and really put this game to rest. But once again, Tigers have got to really look at themselves. When they get in the changing room, look at themselves and say, what on earth are we doing when we're defending just around our own penalty area?
Defensive shambles. Barbatano strikes the woodwork. Pretty certain that came back off the base of the post.
Yeah, it did. No doubt.
And then when the ball came back in, Sam Habtamariam, and in the form he's in, you would have thought he would tuck that one away.
Yeah, it was a golden opportunity.
Real chance for 2-0 squandered for Resh. And how many games have you seen over the years, Steve, where all these chances come back to haunt you one moment at the other end?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the old cliche, isn't it? You know, don't take your chances, and suddenly the game becomes a lot harder than it should be.
Set piece opportunity for the Tigers. A minute or so to half time. Swung in towards the far post. And there was Redmond coming in.
And should have done better. Free header at the back post. And everybody beaten in a black and white shirt, including Thurtell.
Best chance for the Tigers for a while.
Yeah, he should have done better. He should have done better. That's a free header at the back post, and at least got to test the keeper.
Thurtell with the goal kick. Coming up to the final minute of the half. Yeah, the point I was making before that moment where Barbatano at the post was when I spoke with Dave Jordan down at Nijong about that problem on the right-hand side. We figured they would have to change something at half-time, and they didn't, Steve.
No.
And I'll bring you into that in just a second. And here goes Barbatano giving away. They must address that problem, surely.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, that's it's meat and drink from the coaching staff that if you identify a weakness or a vulnerability, that you've got to do something about it. Now, it may well be that you just swap a couple of people around. For instance, put Tanini back into the right back spot and push Keita further on, or you change shape and try and do something a little bit differently. But at the moment, Keita's positioning in that right back spot is leaving a lot to be desired.
Here he is on the ball. Switch to Farej. Looks for Jozowski. He's brushed off it by Abbas. Bailey back towards where Farej will chase. Abbas, though, big strong lad.
Yeah.
Steps across the run of Farej.
Yeah.
So
We're not
1-0.
getting too much out of this left-hand side. Kuma going forward for Ash and Bailey. Not quite combining the way they'd want them to, and Bailey's not being able to get on the ball and play those delightful little switches that he's used to seeing.
Stoppage time at the end of the first half. Bailey wins the header.
I think he said something about a cupcake.
Timothy finds Rathjen.
It's foul throw too.
Just nutmegs Guerrero, and off he goes. And John stayed on side here. Michael John Namoski arriving, and Cole strong to stand up and take it. Once again in the channel. Spaseski. Abbas. Interception. Timothy loses out in the first instance. Rathjen helps him out. Namoski's been bright on that left-hand side.
Yeah, he's done well. Found a lot of space.
A bit of rain coming down, Steve. A few drops of rain threatening. Di Felipe. Farej.
Yeah.
Rathjen sliding challenge did just enough to put him off. We played 90 seconds of stoppage time at the end of the first half.
And the temperature has dropped about 90 degrees.
Are we going to get a bit of that weather we mentioned earlier on?
You never know.
Barbatano goes down under the challenge. Costanzo's header. Tigers finishing the first half on the front foot, looking to force their way back into the match. Bailey's ball in, came off the back of Rathjen. And that is half-time, says Alex Toomey, as McLaughlin collides with Thurtell. And Steve, it's only 1-0, could have been more.
Could have been a lot more, and Gungahlin will be a little disappointed they haven't got into the sheds with a more comfortable lead. That gives some encouragement to the Tigers, because they can come out in the second half and know that they're still in the game. They have some things to sort out defensively, and the midfields looked a little flat and a little pedestrian. On the right-hand side of the back four, they've looked vulnerable. Tanini and Keats are playing too far apart. Keats is positioning just a little off. He is a natural midfielder, and I think they'd get more out of him if they played him more central. But that's, of course, a decision that lies with the coaching staff at Tigers. But at the moment, Gungahlin good for the lead, if not a more healthy lead.
Well, 45 minutes for Tigers to reclaim top spot in the National Premier League in Canberra. At the first half, the only goal arrived after 9 minutes. Samuel Habtemarian reacting quickest after Mishkanovski's shot had been pushed onto the bar by Jacob Cole. Habtemarian slotting home his 5th of the season, and it's that goal that separates the two teams here on the AIS Synthetic. At half-time in the NPL in Canberra, it's Gungahlin United 1, Tigers FC 0. Welcome back to the AIS here at Canberra, the synthetic fields, where at half-time Gungahlin United leads Tigers FC 1-0 thanks to Sam Habtemarian's 9th minute opener. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator, joining me in the second half as you did in the first, Steve Forshaw. Steve, Tigers were exposed fairly on most occasions down that right-hand side in the first half. We spoke about it in the first half. They need to tighten up if they're to get anything from this match.
Yeah, they've got to deal with the overload down the Gungahlin left, and at the moment they're not quite coming to grips with that. Like I said in the first half, I think the midfield through Di Felipe and others has just looked a little bit pedestrian, and I think pushing Keita in there, as they appear to be doing and as they line up, might be a bit of a difference.
Gungalin's team in the first half was Thurtell in goal, Costanzo, Green, Abbas, Timotheo, McLaughlin, Habtemarian, Rathjen, John, Nomoski, Barbatano. Tigers, Cole, Tanini, Redmond, Spaseski, Bailey, Keita, Di Felipe, Guerrero, Furesh, Josefowski and Shields. Doesn't look like there's any changes to either side. And the sun's back out, Steve.
Get all seasoned, the synthetic.
That little bit of rain that threatened just before half-time seems to have passed us by. First touch for the second half for Bailey. Looks for Shields. Very quiet today, Mark Shields.
He's worked hard off the ball, but they haven't been able to get him into the game as much as they would like, that's for sure.
Thurtell. Made a decent save from Tanini just before Gungahlin took the lead. McLaughlin. Timotheo. Rathjen. Bailey should get there first. Instead, he missed the ball and got a fair piece of Zach Barbatano.
I think he's been a little bit unlucky then. Barbatano, to my mind, initiated the contact when it was a bit of an air swing, there's no doubt about it. But nonetheless, free kick. Gunners in a good area for him. This will send Jack Green forward.
Right angle for Timotheo to swing one in towards his general direction. Michael Johns on the edge of the box as well. Mishka Nomoski peeled off to the back post. Sam Habtemarian lurking around, looking to pick up the pieces. Flatter delivery, and John's touch finds Barbatano, and Bailey concedes the throw.
He really is a no-nonsense defender. He's been a real tidy inclusion for the Tigers this year.
Fresh took a swing at it. Rathjen lets it roll. Abbas. Green, who stayed forward. Looks to lift it towards Nomoski. Got him behind Guerrero.
But it looks like they pushed Guerrero back into that right back spot, and Keita has gone more.
Good touch, Timotheo to John. Now Redmond. Space this side for Tanini. If he can keep this in play, chance for the Tigers. First opportunity of the second half. Looks to go past Green, who just stands firm. Solid challenge from Jack Green. McLaughlin.
Too good, Jack Green.
Nomoski just took his eye off the ball briefly. Kept it in play, though. Jacob Cole. Very calm at the back. Should be easy for Green to nod that back towards his own goalkeeper. That's calmly done as well from Jack Green.
Yeah. I think he might have got a call from Thurtell, but good awareness of people around him.
Thurtell's turn to send it forward now. Here's Spaseski's turn to tidy up at the back. Anything you can do? So Guerrero, as you mentioned, into that right back position. A bounce is done for Green on this occasion, but he's rectified the situation. Timotheo lifted over the top towards Habtemarian onto his left foot here. Lays it off to Nomoski. Goes down inside the area. Is that a penalty?
Just outside.
Just outside. Right on the cusp.
He'd done him as well, and he little touch inside. He was getting onto his right foot when he would prefer it on his left, but nonetheless, they've got him late, and correct decision just outside the box gives them a great opportunity to increase their lead.
plethora of options. Over the ball, Timotheo's there, McLaughlin's there, Nomoski left-footed perhaps. The way it's being planted, you'd expect Timotheo to take control.
Well, I think it must be a shot because Jack Green is not going forward at all. Unless he's going to go late.
He's hanging around 35 yards from the goal. Maybe they'll square it to him. Has got a bit of a thunderbolt finish in his boot, Jack Green.
Yeah, he's just sneaking in the back post now.
Who's it going to be? It's McLaughlin. It's low. It's deflected. It's gone all the way in. I think it came off the edge of the wall. Either way, Tom McLaughlin's free kick has snuck in the corner and Gungahlin are 2-0 up.
Yeah, and you can't say they don't deserve it. That's gone through the wall. I mean, the pointless setting a wall if you're not going to stand together, and they spread easily, and Tommy's shot was really stoppable. Apart from the deflection that takes it past goal, but 2-0 Gungahlin. Can't argue that they don't deserve it.
I think the replay might show there was a slight deflection off a heel of one of the defenders on the wall. Either way, there was not much in the shot. It wasn't his best free kick, was it?
No.
He seemed embarrassed to celebrate. But Tom McLaughlin, his first of the season. And what a time to get it.
Yeah, that's really made it difficult now for the Tigers. And unfortunately for them, their early season form is dissipating rather quickly. And they look to be in all sorts of bother.
McLaughlin sends that forward. We thought the loss of Nikar, but might be telling for them. They did win 2 in the spin after he went. It's Belcon and Wood and Western. And Riverina as well. Of course, they won that. But they've lost the last 3, including the Cup.
Well, they haven't lost this one yet, but they're getting very close to it.
They need a response. Got it within their locker.
Well, they've had it in their locker up till now, but they just look a little flat to me. And I'll be very surprised if they get out of this.
McLaughlin's header. Here he is again. As we mentioned in the first half, he looks far more at home in a central midfield role. Here's Nomoski. Timotheo's made the run into space. I think he had a glance at the younger legs of Habtemariam. Green. Ball in towards where Rathjen was. Oh, it's a poor header from Farej. And here's an opportunity for Sam Habtemariam. He's in on goal. Cole denies him.
Should have done better though. No, it was a better save than it was a finish.
Nomoski. Timotheo swings it in towards Michael John. Unmarked, flags up. Won't count. Offside yet again. Despite the cheers of the Gungahlin fans around us.
They are not at the races, Tigers. They haven't come out of the sheds for the second half. I mean, they were in trouble the first half, but at the moment, they're being completely overrun. It's really just a matter of time.
Barbatano's turn to run at them, and he looks for the replay turn. Here's Barbatano. This time it does count. And this time it's 3-0. They've carved the Tigers open again. Another salvo 5 from the Gunners. They look in top form.
And what a great run from Barbatano. I mean, that's all him. Works a tidy 1-2 with Sam Habtemariam, but there's only one team in this, and this could get really ugly for the Tigers now. And, you know, it's if this gets to those sort of embarrassing proportions, then next week becomes a mountain to climb as well.
So you take it 8 minutes of the second half for Gungahlin to probably put this one to bed.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
Goals from Tom McLaughlin and Zach Barbatano. 3-0 at the AIS. You're struggling to see a way back for the Tigers. Here they come again. Gungahlin got the bit between their teeth. Barbatano. It could get messy. Here's John. Barbatano. The runner is Nomoski. Here's Timotheo inside the penalty area. Anti-Timotheo, pass one. Barbatano strike. Got a little bit ambitious with that one.
Yeah, the adrenaline was pumping there, wasn't it? But there's only one team in it at the moment. The Tigers are shot to bits. Defending like statues. Gungahlin playing around them like they're not there.
Well, they've scored 3. They've had 2 disallowed. They've hit the post.
Yeah, it could have been a cricket score, couldn't it? But this probably... Well, I mean, you wouldn't say that seals the minor premiership for Olympic, but it certainly puts them in the box C. Frank Case will be delighted with this result.
Well, it means that Olympic next week can afford a draw or a win, and the championship title will be theirs. Although with the Tigers, you never know what team might turn up at O'Connor Enclosed.
Well, they want to be better than they are today. They've been disappointing today.
Might not be done just yet. Here's Tonini, looking to get a strike away, and it's a good one too, and a decent save from Thurtell. Life still in the Tigers. Namoski. You thought they dodged one, didn't you, when Michael John scored and it was flagged for offside?
Yeah.
For about 30 seconds they did. And Zab Barbatano once again underlying the quality he brings to this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, even when they've been exposed, Thurtell stood strong at the back anyway. So they really don't like, they look like conceding, and there's more goals in it for them if they choose to push on.
We're going to see Tony Matafari shortly. I think it might be a double change because Dimitri Paraskos is getting ready in the dugout as well. It's a thankless task for these two.
Yeah. 3-0 down. Go on and get us a minor premiership, boys.
Yeah.
Good
back
luck with
and forth
that.
between the two of you. Everything will be okay. Timothea with a free kick. In towards Jack Green, over hit. And we will see these changes. It'll be interesting to see whether this is a change with next week in mind now. Jozefowski's coming off for Matafari. Will be the first change. The veteran striker replaced by the pace of Tony Matafari. And who's Paraskos coming for?
Nobody. Going to play with 12.
Looks like Darren Bailey.
And that may be because of the card
Because of the card situation for sure. He's put a couple of challenges in today, which may have picked him up a 7th ticket of the season, but he's going to sit out the rest of this one on the bench. Save him for next week. They'll need him to be all over it next week, won't they? With the front three that, well, the front six that Olympic have. His Shields.
Ball.
Great pass to Farej. Got a bit of space for the first time in the game, Hussein Farej. And then rather got caught between two minds, between the cross and the shot, and did neither.
No, I think when he watches this game back, he'll be thinking, I could have done a little bit better today.
Well, Guerrero's gone across to the left-hand side now of the back four. Tonini back onto the right.
Yeah, it's the sort of position I think Tonini's made his own this year, so it's surprising that they didn't use him there.
Farej looking to cross into the area. Paraskos' first involvement. McLaughlin away, and as far as Keita. Shields rolls his marker, gets a shot in, and the flag stayed down. Presentable opportunity for Mark Shields.
Yeah, he's usually electric around those sorts of areas, but he turned his defender well and got the strike away, and probably the first time we've seen him to any sort of effect at all today.
John climbs highest. Redmond. De Felipe in the middle of the park. Been a good battle that with Rathjen.
Yeah, Rathjen certainly had the better of it.
Matafari, first involvement for him. Taking on Costanzo, who stands him up well and wins the throw. Difficult one now for the Tigers, Steve. Still half an hour to go. 3-0 down. They'd like to force their way back into one. You can't see it. So is it a question of avoiding injuries before next week's title decider?
That and damage control now. I mean, they've really got to start thinking about how they sort of contain a rampant Gungahlin today, because next week their confidence will be shattered. If this gets out to 4, 5, 6, then all sorts of problems ensue.
Here's Habtemariam. Good ball wide. Barbatano. Acres of space to work in here, Barbatano. Pulls it back for Namoski. Leaves it run for Habtemariam, whose shot lands in the trees behind the goal. Another slick move, though.
Yeah, another great ball out from Habtemariam, and then he continued his run and finished up with the strike. And they really haven't come to grips with the width of Gungahlin's attack at all.
Shields has had no change whatsoever from the Gungahlin side today.
Getting desperate if you want yellow cards for just tapping the ball away, aren't you? 3-0 down. Those sorts of frustrations creep in and your minds go elsewhere.
There's a chat here. His card coming out, I think, for J.A. Wilk, the assistant coach. Gets yellow cards. Alex Toomey. Another pointless yellow card.
Yeah, I don't know what that's going to prove.
Shields. Good ball. Now here's a chance for Paraskos. The flag goes up, though. Caught offside.
He looked offside, didn't he?
He certainly did. Just to mention that next week, of course, the 4 matches. There's 2 on Saturday. Woden Western versus Monero Panthers. Riverina Rhinos versus Tuggeranong United. That'll be Riverina's last match in the Premier League. They're going to get relegated, of course. And Sunday, 2 huge games will be at O'Connor Enclosed for the title decider. Canberra Olympic versus Tigers FC. Whilst at Deakin Stadium, Canberra FC take on Gungahlin United in the battle to reach the finals. And Gungahlin United looking in good shape. It's Barbatano trying to force that one through.
He's been absolutely dynamic on that right-hand side for Gungahlin. Giving them headaches down there.
Timotheu. Be interested to see what approach Marcel Munoz takes to next week. If they do get the 3 points from the game against Belconnen United, putting them on to 28, that secures their finals place.
Yeah.
They're going to stay third. Does he rest some players for that match, or does he go out to try to keep the momentum going?
Interesting one. It's possible that they would like to knock FC out. The form they're in, you might prefer to play Belconnen than FC, but you've got players that have niggly injuries at this time of the season. You've got people on cards that you might want to rest. So it's one of those decisions you've got to make in the best interest of the semi-final series.
It's Habtemariam stepping away from Di Felipe, who has a little nibble at him and tries to slide it through to John. Michael John's desperate for a goal today. You can see it in the body language, can't you?
Yeah. But his work rate's been fantastic, hasn't he? He's really put himself around and led the line really well. And if he got one, it would be just reward for a fine performance.
Wouldn't bet against it.
No.
Although Riley Angelo Santi's about to come on, so we'll see who he replaces. Yeah. And it might well be Michael Johns that makes way.
Looks like it might be.
The top goal scorer for Gungahlin United, who's worked very hard this afternoon.
Yeah, he's done well.
7-goal Riley Angelo Santi into the fray.
Who's also had a really good season. Breaking into the starting 11 of the Gungahlin team and rewarded them with a number of goals.
Back 4 of them against Woden Western earlier in the season.
Yeah, he did.
It's his first involvement. That's worked out quite nicely for Zach Barbatano. Off and running. Chance here for Habtemariam. Is this another one? Habtemariam on goal.
He
Jacob Cole denies him.
3 or 4 today, Jeremy Habtemariam.
Well, Jeremy wouldn't have any. Samuel.
Sam, I mean, yeah.
I'm sure Jeremy's watching. He'd like 3 or 4.
Oh, dear.
Now Shields. Abbas is across.
But it's a poor pass again. I mean, it played it into a spot where Buddy Abbas could make the challenge when, in fact, they could have taken him out of the game with a better release.
Barbatano. 3-on-3 briefly here. Went for the Hollywood ball. It's fallen for Timotheu. Habtemariam. Timotheu with the drive. It's dipping. Oh, and that wasn't far away.
Great effort. Great football to set it up and a great strike at the end of it. I think Cole would have been struggling with that on target.
I think he'd given it up. Jacob Cole. The dip on it. Threatened to take it into the top corner. Green wins a header. Keita too strong for Barbatano. Farej swings it in towards Shields, who's arriving. Couldn't get enough on it.
That's the best moment of the game for Farej. He's got a decent ball in there, but riddle me this, Russ. Why do they insist on playing the goal kicks down Jack Green's side of the pitch? Eh?
It's one of life's mysteries, isn't it?
It's one of those mysteries.
The tallest fella on the field.
Best in the air in the league. And
up against Tony Madafari as well, to be fair. Slight height difference.
Yeah.
We're going to see Bojan Taseski join us momentarily. Namoski. Green. Again, look at the space that Barbatano's got to work in here. Can he pick out anyone in the penalty area? Green arriving. I'll tell you what, he's got the technique to put that in the top corner as well.
He's gone for the specky. But once again, little combinations down the left, open up space on the right. Barbatano, miles and miles of room, and then he puts in a decent ball for Jack Green to get on the end of. And unfortunately for Jack, the volley not on target.
I thought for a moment Shields was going to come off here, but it's Keita who's making the change. Michael Keita replaced by Bojan Taseski. With 25 minutes remaining. Madafari, winning runner after that. That's in amongst the crowds. So that's Tigers' deck shuffled.
Yeah, and that appears to be a nod towards damage control.
Well, work starts towards the title decider next week. I'm pretty certain Frank Case and the Canberra Olympic boys are watching this.
Yeah. I think they'll be looking at this and going, high press, midfield pressure, and they can not only win the minor premiership, but win the game next week.
They did, of course, give Olympic a bit of a touch-up at Nijong earlier in the season.
They did.
Mark Shields' hat-trick, one for Nico Abbott in round 9, a 4-1 win for the Tigers on that occasion. So Tigers won't fear the challenge.
No. And look, they've got nothing to lose now.
Should make for a cracking afternoon's football for second season in a row at O'Connor, a title decider.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll come back to that in a second. Here's Shields, chance to pull one back perhaps. McLaughlin was back defending. Taseski got a touch on it. And there's Guerrero with, once again, another hugely ambitious effort.
Struck it well, but he was in another postcode when he got it.
That's all we've asked for with the tightness of the league season, Steve. And we got it last year. It was a bit different last year, though, with the rearranged game from round 1. This time it's worked out the way it has. And Olympic will go into that match with a 2-point advantage, it would seem.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum's all with Olympic now. 2 points clear, a draw will do, but I think they'll want to go out and win the game. Don't think it's in Frank Caish's sort of locker to actually just go out there and defend and hope for a point. I think he'll be pushing, and with the players he's got, why wouldn't he?
Well, the minute you start looking for a draw is the minute you invite pressure on yourself, don't you?
If you need a draw, try and get a win and settle for a draw at the end of the day.
Change for Gungahlin United. Tom McLaughlin jogging off. Liam Walsh to join us. The Yorkshire midfielder.
Yeah, Tommy Max had a good game. More accustomed role in central midfield. His distribution's been excellent. He's been held the midfield together quite well. He'll be delighted with his performance today.
And on top of all that, bagged his first goal of the season.
Yeah.
With a free kick.
That's a foul throw as well.
He'll get to sit out the rest of the match. He'll be telling everyone how he bent that in the top corner from about 35 yards later on. Neat feet out on the side. Ball in towards Paraskos. Break might be on here for Gungahlin United with Habtemariam. The runner up front is Angela Santi. Nice touch to find Timotheu. Slick move again. Spaseski to tidy up. Not the best of clearances from Lawrence Redmond.
No, and it was Lawrence Redmond who sort of, with a similar misplaced pass, set the ball rolling for Gungahlin in the first half to give them that 1-0 lead, and things haven't got any better for the big centre half.
Tseski in the middle of the park. Gungahlin United's taking another step closer to finals football, which at the start of the season with -6 in the bag. I wouldn't say it was unlikely, but it was very remote with the quality of some of the other sides floating around.
Yeah, and the fact that they lost that first game against Olympic when they eventually started the season, it effectively put them 9 points adrift of those teams that had picked up wins. So
Olympic
they've done extremely well.
At that stage, they were 12 points behind Canberra Olympic. Here's a ball in, a real opportunity for a goal back. It's Tseski's drive, decent save. Diving to his right, Jordan Thurtell to preserve the clean sheet.
And every time he's been called upon, he's answered the challenge, hasn't he, Jordan Thurtell? Good effort, though, from Boyes.
Tseski's right foot placed it with with a fair bit of power. Here's the corner to defend towards the far post. Free header for Shields, but from that angle was always difficult.
Yeah, Mark Shields is better than that. I think if he had his time over, he'd be wanting to put that back towards the far post.
So if you just tuned in, you're watching NPL football live on Bar TV, and the only surprise really is it's not more than the 3-0 that it is. Samuel Habtemarian after 9 minutes, Tom McLaughlin after 50, and Zach Barbatano after 53. At that stage, Gungahlin having hit the post and had 2 goals disallowed, they were looking rampant.
Yeah, I mean, it could easily have been 3 at half time, couldn't it? But they won't be too disappointed that 3-0 against Tigers. Second time this season. They bagged 3 against the leaders.
The only side to beat Kuma for a long, long time.
Well, they're certainly the only side that'll beat them twice.
Well, they might not be. Yes, they will be, won't they?
Yeah.
Unless, of course, something happens in finals. Angelo Santi rather challenging. Stud problems here. It's going to fall for Namoski. Drive from distance from Liam Walsh. Fancied his luck.
They're just they're a shadow of the team that had sort of raced away to the top of the league and had looked so invincible for long periods of the season, but they're quite ragged at the moment.
It's petering out a little, isn't it, in terms of the actual contest?
Yeah.
As you'd expect at 3-0. Zach Barbatano making way for Bernard Rene. He's had a great game, Zach Barbatano. Looks at threats every time he's got the ball, and he rounded it off with the 3rd goal of the afternoon.
Absolutely superb performance by the young man. If we were given a man of the match, he would be a strong candidate.
Yeah, been outstanding this afternoon. Habtemarian. Challenge from Guerrero. Might fall for Madafari in his contest with Abbas. Abbas comes out on top. All a bit scrappy.
Yes.
And you've had 6 changes in the match.
And that can affect the continuity, there's no doubt about it. But Tigers look a beaten side. Their body language suggesting that they'd rather be somewhere else. Gungahlin just comfortably cruising towards the final whistle.
Still have 17 minutes to play. It seems Tigers' minds are mostly on next week already.
Well, certainly Gabby and Jer Wilk have got their work cut out to lift this team to face an Olympic side that will be brimful of confidence.
Well, they know what to expect, of course. Tseski. Tseski's ball forward, but is easily picked off. And the touchback from Tonini. Cole looks for Madafari. The flag will go up, though, against Tony Madafari. Snuck offside before coming back on. And Jack Green not messing around. Habtemariam, shadows lengthening across the field here at the AIS on the synthetic. Habtemariam still exchange of passes. This is a lovely build-up once again, but the flag is up against Angelo Santi.
I don't think I've seen a game where there's been so many offsides for a long time. Everybody seems to be getting caught. It's infectious.
It's probably an optical illusion, but I always feel this field seems smaller than quite a lot of the others around Canberra, probably because of the enclosed green fencing around the side of it.
Jacob Cole there anticipating the new rules, playing the ball inside the box.
Quarter of an hour to play. 3-0 to Gungahlin United. Shields brings it down. Immediately cornered, though, by two Gungahlin players. Went too early with a throw, and this is going to be comfortable for Costanzo. I'm suggesting the ball may have gone out of play.
Yeah. Well, there was a throw-in. Shields took the throw-in quickly. Farage just on his heels. Not interested.
That's definitely gone out of play. Bernard Rene right in front of us. Praskos thinks about taking it, leaves it for Tonini. Shields. Farage out wide. To swing it in towards the middle, where De Felipe was. Tseski. Guerrero. Farage again. Nice feet from Hussein Farage. Still going as well. Good run this. And the delivery is too close to Liam Walsh.
That's great football. Very great composure.
Running back towards his own goal, Timotheo, and here they come. Lovely little 1-2s. Habtemariam bringing it forwards. Timotheo goes right. Angelo Santi's made a run down the middle. Asked a fair bit of Timotheo. He's got there, though, and fizzes it across goal.
Deserved better. It was a lovely move. That starts in their own penalty area, and they get into the other penalty area without Tigers getting close to it.
Farage. Now, Madafari might be in here. Opportunity. Out comes Sertel, clatters into Madafari, and somehow comes away with the ball.
Yeah, brave keeping. Brave keeping. Every time he's been asked to do something, Jordan Thurtell, he's done it with the utmost composure and class.
He got clobbered fairly heavily there as well and got himself back up.
Good, it's the same in the first half as well. Yeah, it's all a little bit of an injury.
Tonini runs it out of play. Bernard Rene was putting the pressure on. This one just slowly winding down. Timotheo couldn't force it past Spiseski. Here's Tseski. Guerrero. Farage looking to take on Abbas. Gets past him. Hussein Farage, and he's got the pace to get away here momentarily. Good covering defence though from Buddy Abbas to concede the corner. Deceptive turn of pace from Buddy Abbas at the back there.
Yeah, he can motor when he gets going. But he's, you know, if there is one fault in his game, if there is one weakness in his game, it probably is his pace.
Shot from Spiseski. And that one's well over the crossbar, not threatening the goalkeeper at all.
Is there an update in the other game, do you know?
We're just about to check on that one. And we have got a second goal. And a second goal for Tuggeranong United and a goal for Isosa Ihegi. So Tuggeranong United 2, Woden Western 0.
Woden's season's petered out as well. I mean, for both teams, it was a dead rubber, but Woden actually, started with the win against Bill Connor, first game of the season, and would have been looking forward to pushing on, but it just hasn't happened for them.
It's a win that will put Tuggeranong up to 6th on the ladder with 18 points. All of those points having come from home matches.
Yeah.
And their home form again looks pretty good today. 2-0 up over Woden Western.
That's a good bounce back after being soundly defeated in the midweek game.
Up to Marion running to keep it in. Managed to do so, apparently. No one was awake in the middle.
No.
Angelo Santi looking to challenge, and he's bundled over Redmond. Free kick. Just over 10 minutes to go. This one looks done and dusted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping from a Tigers point of view and with next week in mind, that Tigers can just lift another effort in the last 10 minutes and perhaps snatch a goal just to give them a little bit of confidence going forward. Because for the neutral, a game next week that pits two good teams in good form against each other is what we're looking for. But at the moment,
the flag goes up.
They're struggling, really struggling.
Yeah, another offsides. The pitch at O'Connor, though, hasn't been great this season, has it?
No, it's playable, but it's not great.
Maybe that'll have an influence on the match. We hope it doesn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously going to suit Olympic more than Tigers. They play there every second week.
It's a good knock forward, that, from third cell. Nomoski. Once Timothy. Renee. Walsh. Timothy. Walsh. Lovely stuff. And
unlucky.
Mishko Nomoski caught on the back foot, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But he knows, the veteran, that he wasn't going to get there, so gave it up.
It was lovely combination. Then looking for that third man run as Walsh bounces forward, but just overhit, and as you suggest, Nomoski wasn't going to catch that.
Rebin.
Very few occasions today, Russ, have Tigers been able to put 5 or 6 passes together, and they've turned possession over cheaply. They've failed to get their attacking players into the game with any sort of constructive possession.
And yeah, arguably they could have been 1-0 up after 8 minutes, couldn't they?
Yeah.
And it may have changed the complexion of the contest.
Well, goals change games, there's no doubt about it. But they've been well and truly beaten by a better side today.
Can be no complaints from the Tigers. Rathjen. Habtemariam. Rathjen. Timotheu. Angelo Santi. Time to turn and wind one up with the left foot. Green to Timotheu. Green again. Gets away from the challenge of Guerrero. Still going Jack Green. Toying with the Tigers' defence at the moment. Abbas, crossing opportunity. Couldn't quite get the elevation he needed.
No, it's perhaps why Buddy Abbas doesn't get forward very often.
Costanzo. Walsh. Green looks for Abbas. Nice chest down into the path of Rathjen. Timotheo, oh, great ball. First time to Nomoski, slides it across goal, chance for Habtemariam, and he couldn't make connection with it. He stumbled over in a heap as well.
Looked like Bambi on ice then, didn't he?
Fantastic football there from Gungahlin again, and that pass, the no-look flick from Timotheo.
Timotheo's first class one, and realistically, Habtemariam, had he had his shooting, and he's played well, don't get me wrong, but had he had his shooting boots on, could have had 4 or 5 today.
Definitely should have had at least a hat-trick. Here's Angelo Santi on the far side. So lifted in towards Nomoski. Who brings it down. Angelo Santi again. And leaves one in there, and he's going to pick himself up a yellow card, the substitutes.
Yeah, silly yellow.
Alex Toomey's not had to dish many out today.
No, it hasn't been that sort of game, has it? Darren Bailey might have got one earlier in the first half, but other than that, we haven't seen the referee, and that's a good thing.
6 minutes to play. Rene wins the first challenge. Tonini in on Walsh. A little too vigorously there, Jared Tonini.
Yeah. The one thing that really impresses about this Gungahlin side is how comfortable each of the individual components are on the ball. That nobody seems to panic. Every ball that's played into feet can be controlled. There's movement, there's precision. They're a good side, really good side. And on this sort of form, they can actually go all the way.
Well, that was my question. They're going to cause sides one or two problems in the finals, should, of course, they make it, which it looks like almost certain that they will now.
Well, they've certainly made a major step forward today.
That depends, of course, on the outcome of the Belconnen Gungahlin fixture, which at the moment we'll wait and see. Is Tonini. Rene blocks the first cross. Second chance for Tonini. And Rene blocks the second chance. And plays a decent ball forward to Timothée, who's enjoying himself in the middle of the park. Guerrero. De Felipe. Flesh.
Should it pan out that the top four is as it is now, with FC and Gungahlin making up third and fourth, the first semi-final will be again between two teams that have played each other twice already, and it's one apiece. Charity Shield went the way of FC, and then a comprehensive victory here at the AIS for Gungahlin. And the last game of the season, of course, means that they play each other again, so they could play each other 2 games in a row.
We saw it last year, didn't we, when Canberra FC played Canberra Olympic 1v2.
Yeah.
And we could, of course, see it again. We'll see. Well, we will, won't we? Tigers versus Olympic in the qualification final. It's like a mini-series. Here's Paraskas. Matafari. Swings it into the area. We had a cracking set of double-header last year for the semi-finals. Qualification and elimination finals on the same venue. I'm not sure if that's the case this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Find out a bit closer to the time. Worked very well, didn't it?
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
2 brilliant games as well. We're into the final 3 minutes here. And Gungahlin United are coasting towards 3 points. Looking to keep a clean sheet, though, if they can. Faresh, well, the whistle's gone. There was a handball in there, perhaps. Tigers still throwing players forward. Redmond goes up. Guerrero goes up. Taseski's a tall lad as well.
And Gungahlin sticking true to the principles, packing the penalty area and leaving nobody forward, even at 3-0 up.
Yeah, every single player in a black and white jersey is back inside his own penalty area. Jordan Thurtell barking the orders. De Felipe swings it in. It's not his best either.
No, symptomatic of his game today. He's looked out of sorts today.
Into the final couple of minutes. No way back for the Tigers. So we look ahead to next week, Steve, and looking forward to the 1v2.
Well, looking ahead to next week, what do we can expect? I think Olympic have had the trip away to Riverina where they've come away with a comfortable win. Tigers with the task clearly defined for them today. If they wanted to go back to the top of the league, they had to beat Gungahlin, and they've failed to do so. That will have some sort of psychological impact on the boys from Cooma. They go to O'Connor to face a team that has really shown the way in the second half of the season, and we know that they've got goals in them. So, you know, if you're a betting man, you'd be looking at the Olympic team and saying, you're a chance here of picking up the 3 points. But you never know with Tigers.
Abtamarian running at the defence. Pass one, pass the second. Good run again from Sam Abtamarian. De Felipe stopped him in his tracks, though. That should be easy for Jack Green. Look at the space in midfield for Walsh. Can pick his pass. Rathjen to Abbas. Just seeing out the final seconds of this one.
Yeah, just playing a little bit of keep ball here.
Thurtell. Long ball forwards. Spiseski won the header, but can only send it to touch.
Been effective, hasn't it, Thurtell's distribution, especially coming out to Namoski on this left-hand side.
Angelo Santi plays it over the top to Namoski. Flag stays down. A bit loose, that one, from Misko Namoski. Understandably so, perhaps, in the 91st minute. Free kick to the Tigers. And an early take, but Rene was always alert to that one. And that's a bit too much from Walsh. Shields and Rene in the challenge. Here's Thurtell again. Bit of pressure on him from Madafara on this occasion. Still a decent knock. Guerrero. Argentinian still has possession. A little bit of room for Ferej. Abbas drawn out of position momentarily. That's in towards Shields. Walsh is back, and the Tigers might end the match with a corner.
Yep. Again, Gungahlin, well drilled, getting back numbers, making sure that they follow the fundamental instructions for defending set pieces. And it's a zonal setup.
Di Filippo will take it. Can he pick out a yellow shirt? Swings in, decent ball. Abbas won the header.
But nowhere to go when you bring everybody back.
Tonini swings it in. Thurtell's under it though, and clutches it comfortably. We're in the 92nd minute.
Meat and drink for Thurtell then.
Well, look at the chase on here. Jack Green putting the pressure on.
Jack looking for a goal, huh?
It sums it up really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The centre back in the 92nd minute, putting the press on. Habtemariam takes over. Green, more accustomed position. Di Felipe. Shields. Space for Ferej. Madafari in the middle. Shields joining him. Is there something for the Tigers at the end? Not like that, there isn't.
No, short answer is no, there's not.
Well, still we play.
A little dark here too, floodlights are on.
Namoski. Surprised you know what they are, Steve. Toseski. He wants a corner. It's going to get one as well. So Gungahlin made to work for this clean sheet in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think realistically they've been comfortable, haven't they?
Well, they won't want to concede.
No, they won't want to concede. And you can see by the way that they're actually drilled and organised at the back that it's their intention to keep the clean sheet.
Ferej swings it in towards Thurtell. Easy take again from the goalkeeper. This time he's happy to hold on to it for a little bit. And then send it downfield towards Angelo Santi. Two number 22s challenging. Jacob Cole, though, in the Tigers' goal, comfortable with it. Alex Toomey has a look at the watch.
You sounded like Richie Beno for a minute.
Good win from Green. Falls nicely for Rathjen. Walsh is the option. Another glance at the watch from the referee. Walsh swings it crossfield, and Alex Toomey says that'll do us. And in the end, Steve, it's been a convincing, comfortable performance from Gungahlin United, and they have taken another major stride. If the change doesn't go, the points don't go their way towards the finals.
A major step forward. Ever since the first goal went in, Sam Habtemariam making it 1-0 in the 8th and 9th minute, they really looked untroubled. They've had chances to actually increase the lead before half-time. They've been in total control of this game from go to woe. 3-0 flatters Cooma Tigers a little bit. Could have been a lot more. Saw the bar struck 2 or 3 times. Posts been hit. Chances have been missed. And really, the Tigers were at 6 and 7s for most of the game, and they don't appear to have recovered from the the psychological loss when they lost the FFA Cup and then followed up with the loss to the FC's team last weekend. So they'll go into the next week's game, which is the title decider, with a huge need to sort of recover, and Gungahlin go into next week's games full of confidence. Congratulations to them.
Thanks for your company, Steve. We'll be back with you next week for that title decider. It's Advantage Canberra Olympic. They now know that a point next week at O'Connor and Close will wrap up the league title for them and give them the #1 spot, because today, here at the AS Synthetic, it's been all those in black and white. Gungahlin United comfortably on top. Samuel Habtemarian giving them the lead in the 9th minute. 2 goals in 3 minutes in the second half did for the Tigers in the end. Tom McLaughlin with a free kick. Zach Barbatano moments later. It could have been, as Steve said, many more. The crossbar struck twice. The post struck once. A couple of goals disallowed as well from Marcel Muniz' team. They look sharp. They look confident. They'll head into the finals in good form. Final score of the AIS, Gungahlin United 3, Tigers FC 0.